Okay, I'm live streaming YouTube. Watch me flub up a lot. All right, we are talking. All right. Oh God, Did, is that feedback? Hold on. Okay, okay. Can y'all hear me? All right. Ooh. All right, we're talking team culture. So this is a 3-part series, and I broke it up into 3 parts, and they kind of we repeat some of the information in each part. So the first one is what is culture? What is team culture? And how to assemble the right pieces using the 3 C's. And the 3 C's are competency, character, and chemistry. And then developing your vision. All right. So that's going to be the first piece, developing your vision. After you understand what culture is, part 2 is building the A team. All right. So that's the same as putting the pieces together using the 3 C's. And because building the pieces starts with you and then you getting compatible assistant coaches and getting kids that are compatible to you, because that 3rd C is chemistry, we got to understand your core values. So we're going to talk about core values, and you are going to brainstorm what are your core values. And then part 3, things your program must embody. And there's 5 things. But yeah, so let's start back with team culture. So we took some notes, Katasha. I love these notes. We did a really great job last time. And we talked about, before we talk about what's a great team culture, what's a bad team culture? So Katasha, you can add to these. I'm going to read through them, and I'm sure you and I have talked a lot. Some of these are going to resonate with you. So we said bad team culture. So players in a bad team culture talk about one another, right. blame. They play the blame game, no accountability. They have very bad habits. They don't rest, they don't hydrate, they don't eat before training, meets, games. Bad teams. So a bad team culture, this is how players respond to coaching. They only listen to certain coaches. They become their own coach because they know everything. They are combative, and then they take feedback as bashing or being negative. Coaches in bad team cultures. Bad timeout management. Very unorganized. There's coaches on the staff that don't do anything. Practices aren't scripted. Workouts aren't scripted. Things just don't flow. They have no organization. That goes back to planning. They don't coach up the kids. They don't give relevant feedback. And then discipline in bad team culture is inconsistent. All right. They're inconsistent with the standards. One thing can fly today and it won't fly tomorrow based on the coach's moods. And then coddling favorite people. Right. So we talked about Gen Z because you want to make sure that your vision resonates or is relevant to Gen Z. Okay. So Gen Z's issues, accountability, communication. They love avoidance and deflecting. Gen Z doesn't understand work ethic, don't like being uncomfortable, can't take feedback, easily distracted. Their motivations are different, and they think they deserve something, right? They think they deserve something. All right, so let's pick back up. You got anything to add to that list? Bad team cultures?
Are we just talking about players or parents also? Because when you in bad culture, and you also have parents that jump on the negative bandwagon. with their players, and therefore, either at home or in public, they talk about the coach in a negative way and in front of people, instead of coming to the coach and having a seat and sitting down. So that is that. And then also what spills over into the community. So
Correct. Yes.
mhm,
So, and you got a point there. And good team cultures, even when coaches are unhappy with you or kids are, is very much so in-house. It's very much so in-house. They're not running to tell everybody. They keep it hush hush because the culture is in place and accountability is in place. And they know that program is associated with a good culture. And if you appear to have a problem, that maybe you are the problem. So they usually keep it to themselves. In a bad team culture, it's coach is the problem. My kid's not, doesn't have to be accountable. You're exactly right. Because I've been in places where I knew that the coach wasn't so great, didn't have great morals and ethics. But the culture in general was decent enough that no one would kind of talk about it.
mhm, mhm.
So, big deal. This is a review as well. You've decided you want to build a team. I want to lead a team. And we had a couple of reasons of why we want to lead a team. I said I wanted to lead a team or be a coach because I became obsessed with the idea that multiple personalities and character could eventually blend into one. I became obsessed with that, seeing the transformation of individuals become one sound, right? I think Coach Fleek said community. She and I both agreed helping the underdogs, that resonates with us, wanting to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. And then Megan's not on, but she said she wanted to be of some part of somebody loving the sport instead of hating it because she had had some negative experiences with coaches and with programs. So why do you think you want to lead a team? Like, I want to be a coach. I want to be over a group of young people.
Well, for me, it was because of um, my coach, because of the culture I came from. The coach that coached me, he was, and I always tell everybody, he was a supporter. He supported us, um, females, when nobody else supported us, even though we were we were the top, one of the top teams in the school, but nobody really came to our track meets or anything like that. But he still came. He supported us. All three of our coaches supported us, and the fact that he poured into to us. I mean, he took us home every day. He took 8 girls home every day. Um, and and never asked our parents for anything. And the only thing he asked us to do was come out and compete. Do
Mm,
he asked us to do and compete. And also my coach didn't even coach. He wasn't even a teacher in our school. My head coach, he was I think a correction. I can't remember, a correction officer or probation officer. But our cross country and our cross country coach was in the school. But still, it was the fact that my coach poured into us. He made us leaders. That's where I had the concept of captain, and becoming a captain, an assistant, or um, you know, the co-captain, and then becoming a captain. And even when I dropped the ball at being a leader one day. He got on to me, and he said, "Well, you got to deal with the consequences of what you did." And he didn't turn his back on me, but he of course he disciplined me. And so that's all I that's what you know that's what made me become a coach. That's what I want to do, because I want to give back that same energy that he gave to me.
awesome. I love
Hmm.
that. Love that. That resonates so much. So, building a culture. Culture is your values, beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors shared by the team. Like I said, factors to consider: the generation of your athletes. What do they value?
Hmm.
There's things we value, but what do they value? right? Once you understand that, you're going to be able to be more, your core values and your culture will be more relevant to them. All right. Your leadership vision. What kind of leader do you want to be? Your program's definition of success. All of that's going to determine what type of culture you develop. All right. Culture sets expectations, guides decision making. All right. We talked about some of the bad decisions kids make when they're in a bad culture, right? And
Yeah.
then what are your pillars? And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to start that. Pillars hold up your organization, right? Kids should know the pillars. Somebody walks up and says, what are the pillars of your organization or your values? The words are interchangeable. A kid should be able to say that because it's written everywhere. You're saying it everywhere. You're applauding it when kids honor your values and do well, right? So we went over vision, all right? And Fleeks, you got your vision? Do you think we could work through it right here? Just a little rough draft of it. So your vision for Nimitz Track. Your vision for Nimitz Track.
My bad, I was talking, you couldn't hear me.
Okay.
What I sent you, or just like what I'm trying to do.
Let's scratch what you sent because it was good.
Okay.
Let's scratch what you sent. We've considered, we understand what you have. You have a lack of accountability, lack of personal responsibility. What, just say it plainly. Let's not even use the word vision. What do you want for your program and the girls in your program?
Okay, I want to create a foundation for like a state championship type of program. I want them also be able to have like the morals and values of things that can carry on well after track, like out of a sport. So teach them the life lessons that goes along with that. I want them to be like hardworking, like kids that come that's going to work, that want to compete, that want to be successful. And yeah, that's like the gist of it.
Yeah, no, you're good. You want, so let's work through it.
Okay.
You want them
a championship a championship mindset.
Yeah.
You want them to have a championship mindset. Good, because we know the mindset will carry them the rest of their life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. What are the aspects of a champion?
Hardworking, dedicated, competitive, work in the classroom as well as on the field, on the track or whatever. Someone who takes responsibility, can hold their own, that is okay with taking correction, but don't take it negatively, just channel it and want to do better. And able to step up and hold their teammates responsible as well.
I'm going to add, sees a challenge as an opportunity.
I like
that. That's a unique quality of people. And I can tell you, when I think about being a low-income kid, if I could point to a few things where how I made it and some way more talented kids didn't, I saw a challenge as opportunity. I didn't see it as a setback. It just, that's the way I framed it. It was like, oh, this is opportunity. This is big. I'm going to make the best of this. I'm going to change the narrative. I'm going to attack this like nobody has attacked this challenge. And that's a champion's mindset, right? I'm down 0-5. In my head, I got a chance to come. Instead of seeing that I'm out of this game, no, this gives me an opportunity to write the narrative that I'm a comeback kid. I can, you know what I mean? It's how you can reshape reality.
Yes.
You do have issues. You are behind. You do have low resources. Your mom is absent. You did start sports in the 7th grade, which is a little bit late right now. You don't have a ride all the time.
Yeah.
You are the first person in your family that's trying to do sports seriously. Or you're the first girl in your family that ain't pregnant yet at 15. Or all of that is your reality. You know what I mean? So I love champion's mindset. And then you need to define a champion's mindset. I love that. What's your vision, Katasha?
As an athletic, let me see.
Do your vision as a leader. So it would encompass coaches and athletes for you, coach.
Oh, okay. So my as a leader, my vision is to support, empower, um, um, not support, empower, and of course we say leadership, but lead, not to manage, but to well, not to manage, but empower another
Influence.
person. Influence, yes. Influence. I want my coaches and student athletes to be successful in the capacity that they're in. Making sure that success it does not mean that you are winning. It does not mean always winning. It means that you are completing what you're doing, that you are not a quitter. That regardless of what the challenge is, and like you said, regardless of what the challenge is, that you complete the challenge.
Yeah.
And you move. And if when you do have a challenge, how do we face those challenges? Because again, in athletics, there's going to be challenges. Support the wins and support the losses. I'm going to listen and mediate as needed. I want my coaches to be, I'm not going to say self-led, but to be able to stand on their own, to be accountable. I want you to be responsible, and I want you to be accountable for what your department. I want to work as a team. And sometimes team does not mean always we agree, but that we respect each other and respect each other's opinions.
Gotcha. Mine is probably because my work, I think, is dedicated to female minority coaches and women athletes and coaches. My vision is that for every female minority coach and athlete that I meet, that I would give them the tools and the strategies to be courageous, innovative leaders that I can educate, support, and influence them in order to give student athletes the best possible student athlete experience. So big on the being innovative, doing old things in a new way, being courageous, making the hard decisions that need to be made. So that's my vision. I said this last week. If no one's excited or attracted, if no one's excited or motivated, check the vision. There's a saying, if you're leading and nobody's following, then you're just a man walking in the woods, right? So both of you guys I know are in programs that you're trying to turn around, and not to place blame on you, because we know you inherited some things, but it's going to go back to the vision. And is it relevant, and does it resonate with them? And then helping them come up with their own vision is going to help those kids see past immediately where they are and ultimately buy in, want to change, and just want to press forward. All right. So getting to the 18, after you develop your vision and work through that, work through the wording, go back and say the things you value. Do kids value that? Does Gen Z value that?
It's right? When you talk about the things you were just saying, if they're not excited or whatever, go back and check the vision. It's crazy that you say that, because our shot putter, we was talking to her and I was telling her, I feel I hate that I allowed how crazy that the girls were this year to kind of disrupt my flow and what I wanted to do with them. Like how we talked about one-on-ones and help them establish what they want, because she randomly asked us, so what motivated you? Like, what motivates you? And she's one of those kids that kind of fly with the wind or whatever and don't understand how good she is. And we was telling her, our backstory and what we want or whatever. And I asked her, I said, so what is your vision when it comes to sports or, in general? And we've never got to talk with her like that. And she was like, Coach, I don't have a vision. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that makes sense as to why, she could be so nonchalant about whatever. Cause I was like, you see how we get so passionate is because I have an attachment to this sport. I have an attachment. I'm passionate about what I do. I love this is who I am. And I said, we didn't get to do that with her, but she's like, I don't have that. So it's like, it's easy for her to just kind of come and go or show up. And I was like, for me, like when you say, we in these programs, but a part of that, I feel like that's my fault because a handful of my girls, that's them. It's like they don't have no vision for what they're doing. They're just kind of here. So when we tell them or we have our moments, they don't understand because it's like, why are you so upset or X, Y, and Z? So it's crazy.
They don't know the vision. It don't even make sense. Your anger don't even make sense to them.
Yeah. It's so like, I was like, I take that. I take that. Yeah, I take that. And I'm mad that I let that all the craziness get to me because I stepped away from stuff that I would have normally did. So,
and I Coach, I echo on that or because I think this year I did the same thing. And I'll say within the past last year because I was just going into another position and being a head coach. And so it was kind of trying to balance it out. And then this year, of course, with COVID and trying to, because I usually do my one-on-ones and I did not do that this year. And so, like you said, when you don't follow the protocol that you usually do, sometimes things can get out, can get off track. So,
and like I said, we could have caught that a whole lot earlier than that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But more now than ever that we've slowed down, we got a moment to pause because of COVID. We've realized that a vision of where these kids are going is super important right now. And then the mental skills training, the self-awareness on their behalf and ours is even bigger than X's and O's and running in relays and handing batons and long, you know what I mean? It's like, it's
and I had a kid and like you just said, we have the passion because we're in it and we grew up or we were instilled like you don't quit, you finish what you started. Our parents, grandparents, they said you finish it even if you don't like it, you're gonna finish it. If you don't like it, you don't do it next year, but you're gonna finish what you started. And what I'm seeing is, especially where I am, kids just quit because it's not a part of them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a part of their fabric. And again, when it comes down to the culture of it, and the culture says, okay, I quit, but I'll come back next year. When the culture says, I quit, and no, you don't get to join this team again next year because you quit on us before. If you were to, and then at the end of the day, it's how you, if you quit, it's how you did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you had I know, Tamika was talking about how a student, an athlete, how she couldn't be the hero in her story. And me and her always talk about that. And we're trying to save some, you know what I'm saying? Save them. But at the end of the day, sometimes we got to let them go. But because they don't have the fabric that is interweaved into them to say, okay, you stick with it, or the foundation at home is saying, hey, you stay there until you quit, until it's done, until you finish. That's a problem that we have.
Okay, quitting. So let's put that in our vision statement.
Yeah.
We got to put that in our vision statement. We're holding kids to that. And so if you're bringing that up, a kid's going to say, you're going to be able to say, you're going to get right ahead of it. Get the elephant out the room. Hey, we don't quit. We see challenges as an opportunity. When you call a kid in there and they having a tough time, you're going to revert back to that. No, wait a minute. So there you go. We're getting closer to, I don't want us to, my big thing with coaching, coaches and kids is I didn't want us to do anything the way it's traditionally been done because that doesn't work for where we at.
Right,
so
right.
That cookie cutter vision statement We all have them, even mine. Let's break that thing down to
That's
layman
right.
terms.
That's right. Right. And I hate the term, well, we used to do it this way. Well,
we're not there no
guess
more.
what? It's 2021. It's not 1997. I mean, being honest, of course, I graduated in 97. It's 2021. The same, even just a couple of years ago, the team, of course, every year you change teams. And every team is not the same. And you have to go back to the drawing board every year and say, okay, you look at your personnel, you look at those, and and you're pulling, especially at high school. College, you're recruiting. So you're trying to match up personalities and personnel and all this stuff. In college, in high school, it's the ones that's walking down the hallway and you're trying to get them out to the court, the track, whatever, and you're trying to put those behaviors and you're trying to put those attitudes and make a combination of the best situation on the court or track or in whatever coaching facility that you're in and coaching sport that you're in. But you're right. The cookie cutter ways that we used to do, or hey, you do this way, because even I have to say, okay, step back, Katasha, what is going on with this child, especially like with virtual. Our school is 100% virtual, and I have to get on my players about, you're not logging in class, what the heck is going on, what I'm saying? And then they want to break, I get it, you could cry, you get one time to cry, that's it. You get one time to cry. I'm gonna let you take these tears. But if I have to come back and tell you again, there's no reason to cry, because I'm trying to help you get through the tools, or give you the tools, like you said, to help you be successful. Because if I come back again, there's no crying. There is going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah, there's no crying. But I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? But after that, I give you the tools. Let's work together. Do what we got to do. And then after that, if you're not doing it this time, no, there's no crying. There is. We got to move forward.
Okay. I agree. I'm with you on the first time. Okay, I'm gonna go down this road with you, and that's meeting them where they at. But then no, you're not gonna make me bring down my standard. You're gonna have to meet me. I heard you, and I'm gonna help you, but you got to come up here. I'm not going down there. So that's mine. Let's look at core values, because we're gonna review putting the pieces together through the 3 C's, and one of the 3 C's is chemistry. But you're not gonna know who you have great chemistry with if you don't share values. So I'm gonna list some. If y'all have paper right quick, jot down 8 of these that resonate with you, and then we're gonna get it down to a few. I have integrity, achievement, hard work, authority, balance, compassion, challenge, creativity, curiosity, determination, fairness, faith, growth, happiness, honesty, influence, inner harmony, justice, kindness, knowledge, learning, love, loyalty, meaningful work, optimism, respect, responsibility, self-respect, spirituality, stability, success, status, wisdom, wealth, trustworthiness. So just get down 8 that just stuck out with you, no overthinking, just 8 that you heard that was good.
Hard work, challenge, determination, growth, integrity, loyalty, respect, and spiritual.
All right, take 3 off, get it to 5. Knock 3 off. Get it to 5. You don't have to read them. Yeah, get it down to 5. Get it down to 3, and then we'll share them. So I put integrity, achievement, hard work. The first three were my three I did in an exercise a few days ago. And I thought about if I had to put them in order, I would put integrity, hard work, and achievement, because I want to make sure I do stuff for the right reasons. I'm a good person. I do the right things when no one's watching. And then I really value hard work, which is, again, doing the work, not cheating, not borrowing someone else's work, not riding someone else's coattail, benefiting from their hard work, my own hard work. So that's why I started with integrity, then hard work. And then achievement, I value achievement for whatever reason. Setting goals and meeting those goals keeps me motivated every day, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Hey, I made my bed every day this week. The clothes I tried on, I put them back on the hanger, not on the bed. So I value achievement. It is an adrenaline rush for me. It gives me a sense of focus. So that would be my three core values. Go, Fleets.
I did integrity and hard work, which is basically the same thing for you. And then the last one, for tailored to my kids and my program, I put a challenge, because we struggle with, like we were talking about earlier, seeing a challenge as an opportunity to get better or whatever. We struggle with that very hard. So I say integrity, hard work, and a challenge for me and my kids. And I like.
Okay, for me, it was hard because I had some good ones. But hard work is big for me. With that hard work, it is going to show me, even if you're not the most talented person, but you put in hard work, I can take that. And because if you do that, then that's going to go into the growth part. And you're going to grow, and it's going to translate as me pouring into you. And so my other thing and I'm going to say integrity. For me, integrity is really big. Don't lie to me. At the end of the day, don't lie to me. Even if you're wrong, don't lie to me. Even if you did it, don't lie. That is very big for me. And like you just said, I always tell my kids, I have tunnel vision. I'm like almost like a horse. If you ever heard of a horse, they have those blinders on the side. What that does for me is, like you said, I move like nobody's watching. And when you do that, that makes a big deal, because it's kind of like you're on your toes, but you're not on your toes. Like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me regardless, but at the same time, I move like nobody's watching. And so if I know that I'm moving like nobody's watching, it puts me in check. I'm going to still have fun. I'm going to still laugh. But at the same time, I also have to know that, what I'm putting forth. And what I'm putting forth also resonates with my team. So I think, for me, it is hard work. It is growth, and it is integrity.
Awesome. So we got our core values, and it's a good thing exercise for y'all when you get with your kids on Zoom or whatever. Have a list of like 30 core values. Do the same exercise I did. Start them at like 10, get them to 5, and then get them down to 3. And it's going to tell you a whole lot about kids, right? And you're going to see some kids just going to naturally see like, okay, I can see how you value that. That's kind of how I am. And it'll give you a very good idea of how to make your vision relevant, how to make conversations relevant to them, because you can tie it to that. Hey, you know what? I know you're big on loyalty. So, I notice you have this attitude still with her or with me, or I think you're seeing something, and you'll get to realizing something you did was maybe better for the team. versus them, they saw it as disloyal. And then it's just a way to you to really talk them through that. Like, you know, I got a feeling that you think this is, just get the elephant out of the room with these kids.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get inside their head to know how they think. So you got your core values. Start doing some work with that. So we're going to quickly go over the 3 big C's, and then we're going to go over 2 pillars. There's 5 pillars. We're going to go over 2. I'm going to try to get you off of here at like 8:50. Okay. So the 3 C's: competence. You look at, so you're building, start with your assistant. You need somebody who's competent in this order. They have ability, knowledge, or skill. They know what they're talking about. They know the sport. They know teaching. They know how to communicate. In order to teach, they know the sport. Then character, right? There's distinguishing features about them, right? You notice their attention to detail, their loyalty, their hardworking. You can identify those things very quickly about them based on very few interactions. Oh, I can tell you take pride in your work. I can tell that you value communicating, like they're communicating well to you, over communicating. Okay. And then are they,
chemistry.
And a big thing to realize why we're going in this order is because they can have skill and ability, but if they don't have character, they don't have integrity, they don't do the right thing when you're not watching, then they're no good to you. They're no good to you. Kids that won't do the right thing in your program, but they're skilled, they're no good to you when you're trying to build the A team. They aren't, right? And some of us have more control than others in our program to put out kids that have low character. Sometimes we're forced to keep them. And then the second thing you're looking for is chemistry. All right, that's a psychological interaction between you two. All right, you can feel that it's easy to talk to them. It's not hard. They get 80% of things y'all agree on, your views. You think like I think. That's the core values. When you interview somebody, hey, list me your core values. All right. And if they're too, you know, some people suck at interviewing, you might give them a list of 10 and then let them bring from it. Because I know interviewing is nerve-wracking. Somebody might fumble through some stuff, and I've done that before. Right. And so what me and Fleeks talked about is that we're women, we're all emotional. We come from backgrounds where we were the underdog. We want to help kids. Sometimes we skip right to chemistry.
Yeah.
I really like that kid. We from the same, we cut from the same cloth. We from the same area. Her story sound like my story. We skipped over. She has no skill or ability. And you know what? When you think about it, she does do some shady stuff. Her character ain't that great either.
We want to save them. We want to save them.
When you think on it, she done kept up a lot of mess. But, you know, I know some kids. I like you, but you know what? You kind of do some shady stuff. And I kept you because I like you. And you know what? When I started studying this, every single time that, because I had this thing, I said, you know what? Every time I've made a concession for somebody, it has come back to bite me. I was really like, I gotta be the unluckiest person in the world. No, I was valuing chemistry over character.
Yep. And I've done that. I mean, even it like you said, it bites you in the it just, and you just want, you know, it's like this. Like you just said, you can't be everybody's savior. You can't be everybody's hero, but you try, because you see them before they see themselves.
You see yourself in them too.
That's true. Yeah, and yes, and you see them, you know. And I had a kid tell me something. You know, I told her, I said, I know you. I know you. What do you know yourself? No, you don't know me. I said, yes, baby. You know, I see you, because the thing is, I've not maybe not seen myself, but I've seen this pattern so many times. And if you go down this road, then I know that 95% of the time that a kid has went down this road, it ain't been good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to get you to understand, don't go down that road. Well, you know, at the end of the day, they end up going down that road. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and my assistant coach had to tell me, he was like, hey, coach, you did what you're supposed to do. You've extended your hand. You did everything you can do. You talked to them. You did it. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Hands
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both know Fleek's she got a big heart too, girl.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to start thinking about that. And like I said, I do know you public school educators. Sometimes you don't have a say in some matters, but when you start assembling, you know, varsity, you know, definitely think about that. And when you get a chance to interview coaches. So let's talk about, we're gonna go right into the pillars. And I want you to, these are just examples. And if you don't have pillars in place, for sure start with these. And then as you get to know yourself more and what you value and where you are and what's important and what's gonna be transformational, what's gonna transform where you're at, then you'll know what to add. But I love these. This is a great place to start. And the first one is excellence. Excellence got to be a pillar in your program. And I'm going to give you some ways to explain excellence so simple, right? So the complicated definition is having an exceptional approach to a common task.
Just be good.
Right? Our kids clean up the gym. Our kids don't just clean up the gym. Yeah. They don't just clean our side of the bleachers. They gonna go on the side the other folks was on. That's an ordinary task. Our kids don't just dump trash in the gym, in the trash cans in there. They pull the bag out, tied up, put it at the back for the janitor. And that's just a small whatever. But that's an ordinary task, okay? Go in the extra mile. The things that most teams accept, your team don't accept. Right? That's the language you're going to use with them. Hey, we're going to practice excellence. Things that, you know, and that's how you play up the story with these kids, because we're smarter than them. Hey, they accept this over there. They accept this across the freeway. We don't accept that over here. Yeah. Now you're getting them on board to they on a part of something bigger than themselves when you start using we. We don't accept that over here. And then you add yourself as a partner with them. I'm partnering with you. Not I expect excellence from you. We strive for excellence here. Yeah. That means you're gonna go the extra mile, which I know both of you already are, right? Dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Okay, we've got to bring up when our kids do little, I'm old school, little trifling things, right? Hey, you don't do that. That you half did that. We can't let kids not touch the line. We can't let you not wear your appropriate shirt that you're supposed to wear on Mondays for practice. Right? So that's excellence. It's not some grand thing. And if you say it to a 15-year-old kid, it's like, I don't want to be excellent. What is that? It's not. It's in the smallest things you do every day. It's doing them a little bit better than the person next to you. Make sure somebody not trying to get into the thing. Okay. All right. Second one, innovation. And I'm going to tell you guys this, especially African American girls. Some of them have very fixed mindset. They're not willing to try new things. They're not innovative. That's why you're saying, try this way. And they're like, no, I've always done it this way. Nobody else has told me to do it. We've got to intentionally push our kids to be innovative. You got to be innovative yourself. Yeah. You can't do it like the school across the freeway. You got to do it like your high school, like Coach Fleeks wants to do it, like Coach Turner wants to do it. Not the way your coach even taught you to do it when you was in school. You got to do it your way, right? And you got to encourage them. Have ideas. Look for new ways of doing old things, right? Check how you're stretching. Check how you enter the gym. What do you guys wear for practice? What do you eat? Right? Look for new ways of doing old things. And then creativity. Right? It goes, that's also, if you have a script, put your spin on it, right? You guys are public school teachers, some stuff, spend your 50-minute athletic period different than everybody else does their 50-minute athletic period. You know what I mean? At the track meet, everybody else may warm up like this. Maybe your kids do one big warm up when y'all get there, and then right before they race, they do something else. I don't know, but be creative, be dynamic, combine things, switch the order. Do some things first that you used to do last.
It's good stuff, Newman. It's good stuff.
Thanks, girlfriend. So that's the first two. We're gonna go over the next three, part 3, and we're gonna bring everything together.
So do you want us to have like some type of, I guess, rough draft next week of this?
Yeah. Look back at your core values and really think about what really grinds your gears. What behaviors you despise and why? That's going to tell you what your core values are. What's the most thing that irritates you about how this season played out, Fleeks? That your kids are what? Ungrateful? That they're weak-minded? What eats you up? That they aren't willing to grow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all of that. All of that.
What was, because at the root of your disappointment is something that hurt you and just cut so deep and hurt so bad because it goes against your value.
Yeah. I think I said it last time. I feel like I lowered my standards. Like I said earlier, like I feel like I allowed the stress of everything going on to have me turn away from what I would and what I normally want to accept, because I started to become like them and start to operate in the sense of like, I don't care no more. And that's against everything in me. So like their nonchalantness, their laziness, they don't like to work. They're, like I said, very ungrateful. Like we go above and beyond for these kids as far as making sure that you eat, that you have water, like because we know that you're not going to do these things. So we make sure that you go here. Like we took them to Olive Garden, like before they ran last week, and all of them was just sitting there. Like a lot of them was not going to eat. They was like, I don't eat before I run, or I don't want to eat this, or what is this? But now this week they're like, Coach, we want to go get pasta and stuff, right? Because it's like you said, it's against their norms. Like how you say, be innovative and be creative or whatever. These are things that they don't know. Yeah.
Try new things. Y'all, that's a lot of the stubbornness attached with kids, especially from a low-income environment. It's like, try something new.
Yeah. You saying that, Fleek, you saying that, just because, Fleeks, we go to Chick-fil-A, and it's so funny because, of course, Chick-fil-A, we don't have Chick-fil-A in Selma. So, there, you go to Chick-fil-A, but I have some, like, I have something to say, I don't eat Chick-fil-A. I'm like, you don't eat Chick-fil-A. Like, what's wrong
it's just
with you?
outside of their norm. It's right. What they don't know what they don't know.
Right. And so what I do, I have a box lunch, because usually, even with volleyball, I would usually like, okay, we'll stop at a place and I let them get out and eat. But with track, I said, you know what, I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to start getting box lunches, and we ain't going to be standing there waiting for, what you order and what you, and I started doing that. And I was like, oh, aha, new idea. I'm going to change something different. And for me, that was big, because of course it did not waste time. It did not, if you didn't want it, then that's fine, but you didn't waste time. I didn't waste my time. And I got them something to eat and drink at the same time. And then, like you said, with the water and hydration, because of course, I have both. I have volleyball and I have track. And it is, these kids don't know how to hydrate. They don't know how. And so you have to show them.
Yeah.
And it does make a big difference, and being creative and how to turn something into something different. And even not just with kids, it's with parents, because especially when you have young parents, or you have parents that never been in this sport.
Exposed, they haven't been exposed.
Yes, they haven't been exposed to anything. It makes a big difference. I mean, I have 4 seniors this year, but my core of my team are freshmen, sophomore, and juniors.
Same.
And of course, last year with COVID, we were not able to have our outdoor season. We had our indoor season, and so it was a little bit different. Even though some of them were getting started, but they never understood outdoor season. And so I had a parent meeting yesterday, and and I try not to parent meeting my parents to death, or even my head coaches as athletic director. But what I did was, I've been doing Zoom meetings, because I like this is better, and you could be in your car wherever you want to be. You don't have to drive to the school. But I started telling them, hey, this is how sectionals has to be ran. This is what is the requirement. And I showed them and broke it down to them and say, okay, not this week, but next week we go to sectionals. This is how they qualify for state. This is how this goes for track and field. We've been running for a reason because of this. We've been running for the past 6 weeks because next week is our qualifying meet. If they don't hit this, if they don't qualify this, if you're not top 5 for this, you will not go. And so having to break that down, even financially, when I told them, I said, well, hey, I actually do a fundraiser. Your participation fee was $50, and this was a $50. And if you did the sale, great, and you paid that off. I'm not worried about that. If you want to do more, that's fine. And then a parent said, oh, I didn't even know. I must have missed that. And I was like, yes, ma'am. She was like, okay, no problem. I cash app you, no problem. But it is, like you said, they're innovative. You got to change something. You got to change something and do something new. I think with COVID has made us do that also.
Oh yeah. Oh, we've had to, and we found out how to be more efficient with time, everything, because COVID. I love it, because now you're running out of excuses, and you can all get them to, hey, get them all on this one call. You're gonna hear this. You can cut your screen off, whatever. You're gonna get this information. It's created some challenges as well, because with this generation, because they use everything digital and online, serious conversations need to happen in person. They do not perceive the level of seriousness. You can say it's serious. You can have a serious tone. There's something about doing it in this way. It is not serious to them. So that's weird. I'm gonna leave y'all with this, because I told y'all 8:50. You're both, have inherited some bad culture. Bad culture has everything to do. If you find bad culture, there's no core values. And I'm not picking on y'all, but you have your own values, but they aren't known and shared. And like they said, when we're teaching, if they don't get it, you're not teaching. You're like, no, I'm teaching. If they're not learning it, you're not teaching it, right? You got to find innovative, creative ways to get it in their head, right? And then the biggest thing, and you can start this immediately, there's no excellence on bad teams or bad culture. They do not do ordinary things with any level of pride. And you can go and look back and retrack and remind and think about small things that your team, they don't do well. And it has nothing to do with your sport.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all do that, very sorry. Y'all have to do this. Y'all have to do that. There's no care put into this. No care put into that. Right? And some of it comes from their parents. They don't do anything with a standard of excellence. Their parents have done everything in their life. They're always late. Mom always promises this, doesn't do it. Half does this, gives you half the money, whatever. So you're trying to establish excellence above everything, just the way we do ordinary things. And then these are 4 leadership styles. And eventually we want to get to the 4th one. And basically your support decreases. And by the time you get to the 4th one, that's a player-led program. And player-led programs have great culture, right? Coach can delegate and just watch it flow. So the first thing of leadership. My baby just gave me a gift. She's so over me. She put her hair bow on a piece of paper. Hold on, I'm almost done. The first one is directing. And that's, you got to tell kids the who, what, the when, where, and the why.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you are now. That's where you're begging, pulling teeth with kids.
Yeah.
The second thing, y'all ain't even to coaching yet.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching is number 2, right? Interactive behavior. You understand what we're doing, where we're doing it, why we're doing it.
And
I'm
wait,
hands-on
is this a
with
pillar?
you.
This is not pillars. What is this one?
Leadership styles.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And these are based on readiness level, where your kids are. So if you still got to tell them the who, what, when, where, and the why you got to go hard, why you got to be on time, why you got to come every day,
Mm-hmm.
you still directing. You ain't even coaching yet.
Yeah.
Coaching, all right? Coaching is interactive, demonstrating. Kids understand what's going on. They just still need, you're coaching them up. They know what's going on. You're coaching it up. Now you're giving feedback and correction,
Mm-hmm.
right? 3 is supporting. They know what to do. You're now listening and just answering questions, right? Kids understand standards. They understand what you want, your goal. You listen, you answer questions. All right, you're getting closer to that great culture. You come in, you don't have to start practice. It starts on its own because you set the tone. They know what to do. You listen and answer questions. You're just supporting.
Yeah.
And then 4, you delegating. You leave them alone. You got captains that get them started. You got captains that interject when folks not doing what they supposed to do. You got captains who call a meeting when stuff not going the way it's supposed to go. You got captains speak up in the timeout. When you're done talking, they start talking.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And you say all this is based on readiness level.
Their readiness. This is what leadership style you are forced into based on their readiness. So right now, you guys are still directing.
Very much.
You ain't even got to the coach. You trying to tell people why they need to be on time. We can't even talk about X's and O's, how to pass the baton. You don't even buy into being on time.
Correct.
So start thinking about those things and where you see some gaps.
Is that
Where you see some gaps, and then you just start small. But unfortunately, if you have the ability, you'll have to get rid of some folks because they're not gonna help you build a team.
right?
Some
Very
folks
true.
not. It's not. And they said all 3. They got to be competent, have some ability, got to have good character, and then y'all got to get along.
Yeah.
And start there and get coaches that are the same way. And Katasha, whatever level of authority you have over hiring, when you get a chance, get some coaches that share your same value of integrity.
That is true. That's what I'm working on and proposing now. If you want me to stay in this position, then I have to be a part of the hiring process.
Correct.
The last time I was not, and it did not go. It's not going very well.
Yeah.
And so, if you want me here to be in this position, in this capacity, that's what we got to do.
Yeah. Bleaks, what was probably the most eye-opening thing today? You're like, you know what?
Like, for today. Me is my kids don't know my vision. I remember last week we talked about you can say it, but actually going through it with them as like what my expectation is. They don't know that. So me making sure that my values and what I expect of them is told to them earlier in the season, like when we getting started. So it's not I didn't know, or and then also make sure that I have like my values and stuff in line and in order of what I'm trying to
invisible. Have it visible.
And one thing I would say that's bad coaching on me is I'm not consistent in scripting what I'm doing. as far as like a game plan, or we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we do this. A lot of times, if I'm honest, I've had practices where I'm headed to practice like, okay, what's today? Okay, we're gonna do this. And I just come, like, I have it in my head of what I want to do. But as far as like how you used to write out, Monday we're doing this, Tuesday they got this, you know. So I can see where I dropped the ball and kind of contributed to the behavior of my team, which I
Oh
own that.
yeah, because if you don't have it written down, some kid comes running up to you while you walking out, and you would think, boom, that thought's lost, and then you just,
Yeah,
oh, well, let's just, you're gonna revert back to probably something you're very comfortable doing
we're doing.
or seeing them
Yeah.
do. Okay, we do this well. When if you took the time, a few minutes early that day, um, you would have thought it out, and it's on paper, just, where's my paper at? Okay, we got this, and then modify from there. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna scratch that. That sounded like a good idea, but I'm looking at y'all right now. That ain't gonna be good today.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because I had plenty of times where I had to modify my workouts, but it was, the lack of effort, or just like you said, like where they were on that day, I wasn't gonna get what I needed out of it. But not having something in mind of, okay, well, we'll do this instead. It'll be really on some fly type stuff where you can, yeah.
And coach, really, you need to have your own. I used to have questions I asked myself after the first set on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It had some notes about the team. It had 3 questions for me. Are we in the right defense? Is my serving scheme right? Am I serving the right people to get them out or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And should I sub?
Okay.
And for track, you make that for you midway through practice. Have I looked over at my high jumpers over there? Anything, have I checked in with this kid? And, write yourself a note. Don't count on your memory right now. And your efficiency, if you're going to get better, faster, you gotta cover all ground. You gotta use your time wisely. Like, you need to have written down what you want to remember to say to them when practice ends. Have a pen in your ear. Hey, bring up ... Bring up people leaving their cleats on the track. Bring up gum in your mouth, spitting it out. Whatever. Bring it up. Bring up people cussing or making excuses.
I have one quick. I know you're gonna get to Katasha. I know we got to go. What recommendation do you have when I have a fairly young, not let me say fair, not fairly young because she's older than me, but a new assistant? And it's like she comes from track, like she knows it, but not as much as I would or whatever. And so it's only me and her trying to cover. And me, I usually take on it like the big stuff, but like hurdles, high jump, long jump. Like as far as the balancing of what we're going to do each day, because what happens is, even last year, there's a good group of kids that get left out when it comes to like specific things that they need to do.
She needs to work with your better, more responsible kids. You need to work with the developing kids.
Okay, I think I remember you saying that. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Katasha. Anything, like, I'm gonna start working on this right away. It was kind of like an aha moment. I hadn't thought of that way, or I thought of this, I didn't use those words.
Yeah.
For me, it's making my vision, like, again, making my vision going back and making my vision plain to them. Because even though to a certain extent it can be all over the place, like I can do this, but making it plain, and using ways to post my vision, and then asking them what their vision is, what they want, what they ensue, and really being intentional with it. Because I have done write it on a piece of paper and then write it on a piece of paper, but we won't go back to it. The coaching part, trying to find, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna be honest. I'm at a balance. I'm at a crossroads right now. Do I walk away from volleyball for a while, or do I? And I know volleyball, or do I go into athletic administration and stay in one sport? How I'm gonna do that? But again, going to the 3 C's, finding coaches that are competent and have character, and then are they the best fit for the team? and what I want them and what the vision that I see that this team can be, whether it's volleyball, whether it's track and field, wherever it is. You know, it just is a reality that I do have to do that. And track and field, I'm going to have to let one of my coaches go, even though this year been knowing them for years, but I'm probably going to have to do that because I don't see the chemistry. I don't see the knowledge. You in backwoods knowledge, and it's not working. And I'm always an innovator. I am. I'm not saying I'm the best in technology, but I'm always looking at ways to build. Now, what I say is, I see the innovation, I hit it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that worked, and I'm gonna try something else. And I sometimes don't stick with it. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And or not going back to it. So those are again, the three coaching, the competence, the character, and chemistry. Those resonated with me very well.
That was eye-opening for me. I won't lie to you. That was eye-opening.
Yeah.
For me, that I had definitely did those out of order, and every time I did, it was an awful situation.
Right. And even what you're saying with the chemistry, that really did open my eyes, because again, we want, I'm just like Fleeks, I'm like you, I'm like Tamika, we want to be, not saying try to be their buddy, but we want to try to meet them where they are first. And then, okay, well, can they pass? Can they, and when you put a ball in their hand, you like, you not able to really do what I need you to do. But but I want to work with you. But then you end up spending a lot of energy trying to get the skill set and trying to build it.
And if they become resistant, it eventually erodes at the chemistry anyway.
Right. And then you get mad. And then as a coach, you get mad because you like, I'm putting in my time with you. I'm putting in my time with you, and you're not giving me back what I need, because you want from them. You want you from them. You understand what I'm saying? You want to see you right.
If I got this opportunity and the coach was trying to work with me and I was behind, I would be grateful. I would come in here, I would listen to everything. And that goes back to character, because they be grateful. That's a part of a good character.
But it also goes back to their generation. The generation too.
Yes.
Because because they've had people leave them and come and go. And they've also had people that they don't really, the character of people.
Yeah. Exactly. And they're a result of their environment too. Their parents and all that. But I'm gonna let y'all go. It's 9. I enjoyed it. Let's come back together next Wednesday. Definitely invite somebody. We'll do the last 3 pillars, and then we'll recap. We'll tell stories, because stories are always way more. And we always remember when somebody brings up the situation, it always helps it stick more. So I always love the storytelling. So more people we get on here that can say, there's a situation, this happened. It really helps us grow, because it's better you hear it before you experience it. And you're like, I know a coach that told me something like this. This is how I can approach this. And that's the beauty of networking. It was so many things that happened that I'm sure if I had a bigger network of female minority coaches, people could have said, hey, I've experienced this, what you're happening. This is probably what's about to happen. This is what you should be ready for. This is how you should respond. You might want to think about changing your mindset about this, about that. And that's really my goal, is like, hey, think about this, because, so anyway, y'all see, I got a visitor. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey.
Y'all have a good